Hey, shalom, shalom, shalom. Barakatah, Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Rukwakadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of the great, most honor salutations to the sincere Akim across the four corners of the globe, pushing this truth in all due diligence and sincerity. Just further evidence that this man is the absolute devil. Yeah. So, as you can see here, following on from the last video, Santander, one of the UK banks, um, announces interest rate rise on savings accounts after Bank of England vote. But that is also on every lending product they have: credit cards, mortgages, etc. And every bank is going to do similar. You see, they try to downplay it in the media like, oh, it's a measly £15 whatever a month. On average, for the average individual, this is going to destroy families, man. This is going to require like the husband and the wife to both work double shifts on two jobs each just to pretty much survive, man. Meaning that homes are going to literally turn into not houses are going to turn not into home are going to transform from just about being homes to just places where you recharge and then head back out, man. You know, literally, man, people are going to spend the majority of their time on foot working, man. And that's what Esau wants: continuous laborers, man. Literally, man. Following the Bank of England's decision to raise the base rate, Santander has announced updates to its mortgages and savings rates. The Bank of England base rate dropped to a historic low of 0.1% at the very start of the pandemic, a decision which looks set to slowly be reversed after the central bank's monetary policy committee voted to um, up the bank rate to 0.25% earlier today. That happened on Thursday the 16th. It is now Friday the 17th, early in the morning. It says Santander has announced that its savings products are like a directly linked to the Bank of England base rate will increase by the same 0.1%, effective from January the 12th, 2022. So all of the banks are increasing their products from January the 12th. Well, around January, some January the 7th to some January the 12th, but around that period. So it says this includes the rate for what Santander's product is for life and good, for life. Like, this includes the rate for life and good for life savings accounts. Likewise, the interest rates on their mortgage products will be changing, and customers should expect to receive communications from Santander regarding the new rates that before their monthly repayment changes. And now let's analyze how this man is the devil. Santander has said that all tracker mortgage products linked to the base rate will increase by the 0.15%. This includes the Santander follow-on rate, which is basically a tracker rate that follows the Bank of England base rate, which will rise to 3.50%. 3.50%. Yo, 3.50%. Now, we had the illustration here. Let's see if I can get it back up again. 3.50%. Okay, so let's analyze this, right? This includes the Santander follow-on rate, which will rise to 3.50%. Okay, now let's look at the difference between the 2% mortgage at £583 if you had 350,000, just as an example, and the 3.5%. Your payment pretty much doubles. Yeah. Oh man, this man is the devil, man. Yeah, this includes, so he's telling you, yeah, you know, your savings account is going to go up by 0.15%. But yeah, and they even titled it around that. But Lord and behold, you're gonna be paying about a grand extra. You're gonna be paying about £500 extra if your mortgage is anything around 350k and above. And you know, the average home in the UK is about like a million. You'll get a flat for about 150, 200k if you're lucky. Anyway, the Allianz and Leicester and Santander standard variable rate will rise to 4.49% from the beginning of February. So the Allianz and Leicester and Santander standard variable rate mortgage will rise to 4.49%, basically 4.50%, 4.5%, 4.5% on a life commitment as large as that. Usury, man, at its highest. The bank rate rise to 0.25% is a dismal comparison to the 0.5% seen before the two successive cuts in March 2020. But this is on On top, this rise to 0.25% is on top of all the inflationary pressures, inflation being above 6% at the moment, and also the fact that a lot of people have lost jobs, not worked in months. This man is the devil, man. The prices of everything are going up. Now they're gonna have to fork out for that as well. People are gonna have to fork out. And even though we've got the NHS, a lot of people are choosing to go private medical because you can't get an appointment right now for anything, whether that's cancer, diabetes, whatever, because of the Pritt sticks. Hey, man. Rachel Springfield, finance expert, commented, "This base rate change may take a few months to trickle down to savers who have a variable rate deal, but there is no guarantee that the rate will be passed on to them in full or at all, or it will happen." Miss Springfield explained that even if savers were to see the full 0.15% passed on to them, they would only receive £30 in extra interest on a £20,000 investment. Do you understand that? So you could have 20,000 in a savings account, yeah, 20,000 in a savings account, and ultimately speaking, you would only see £30 extra. If you had 20,000 sitting in the bank for a whole year, you would see only £30 extra. I have to bring this out again. Proverbs the 11th chapter verse 1. A false balance is an abomination to the Lord Jehovah Shai, but a just weight is his delight. So here it is. Your mortgage payment for the month is going to double to about 1,000 and whatever, but you're only going to see about £30 extra an interest that is earned. Come on, man. If this man is not the devil, I mean, anyway, as seen with Santander, many banks will be switching up their interest rates to keep up with the Bank of England, especially as many easy access accounts have dropped their interest rates to 0.01%. This will likely see a great uptick in a variety of deals in favor of savers for the first time in many months, but it's not going to keep up with inflation and the increased cost of living, man. You know? Look at this here. It says, however, savers are warned that the biggest high street banks will likely not match the base rate on easy access accounts. So looking towards alternative accounts or banks has been suggested. So even still, even though the banks can and what's it called, offer better interest and give you more for your money, they're not going to do it, because ultimately speaking, they're just trying to make sure that you absorb all the costs and they minimize their losses, man. Even though they got old money, man, they got money to burn. But it is what it is, man. This is what happens when you deal with the devil, man. She shared rising inflation is the real reason behind this fast switch, with new figures out yesterday clearly causing a lot of concern at Threadneedle Street. Ms. Snutter also cautioned that savers shouldn't be rushing to spend the new savings interest, as banks will be more likely to pass the increase onto their mortgage and debt customers first. Exactly. So before they even give you a chance to earn more on your savings, they're gonna make sure that they charge the increase onto any customers with mortgages and debts, and that's why you don't want to have debt in this society. This is a debt-based society, man. Just give me a second, Akim. This is a debt-based society, and ultimately speaking, man, everybody owns somebody. You're born into debt, you die in debt, man. You literally, man. look into um, look into financial law. Look at, like, ultimately speaking, man. Your birth certificate is a bond. Like, all we are. That's why you have your name in all caps, man. Especially your driving license, your passport, etc. Because all we are commodities, man. At work, you're described as a human resource. You're literally just a number, man. You get the national insurance number, and that's you. But ultimately, that's what that MOTB is going to be, man. Habakkuk, the second chapter, starting from verse 4. Behold, his soul which is lifted up is not upright in him, but the just shall live by his faith. This man is the devil. That's why he's created a system which isn't based on money, which isn't based on anything. Like, there's literally no difference with you taking monopoly money and using that in a shop. The only thing is that because there's not a country and a military backing that, there's no belief in that as legal tender. But that's essentially what the pound sterling is. The only reason the pound sterling has power is because Britain is as a military force with NATO and the rest of and America ultimately has a say so in the world, and it's still viewed as one of the more decadent, even though it's a piece of shit, it's still viewed as one of the more decadent, powerful nations, man. But the pound is struggling, the dollar is struggling. The dollar is the world reserve currency, man. Over 80% of transactions in the world go through the dollar, man. Through routing banks, etc., man, and intermediary banks. But ultimately speaking, the dollar is crumbling, man. And when that crumbles, it's over, man. It's over. The world reserve currency responsible for over 80% of the transactions in the world. That's why all of these countries are trying. A lot of these EU countries also are trying to do away with the dollar, man. Hey, Edomites are devils, even amongst themselves. There's infighting. Satan is divided against Satan. So how shall his kingdom stand? Yea, also because he transgresseth by wine, he is a proud man, neither keepeth at home, who enlargeth his desire as hell and is as death, and cannot be satisfied, but gathereth unto him all nations, and heapeth unto him all people, man. These metropolitan cities, Londinium being one of them, London. A lot of these financial companies are making hella bread, but hey, as of late, they're cutting a lot of staff because ultimately that money is getting funneled up right up to the top. The CEO of Barclays, man, yeah, Epstein's homeboy got paid off. Like, let's say, like, look, for Epstein is a known fiddler. Yeah, you had it to where the CEO of ex-CEO of Barclays basically was guilty by affiliation. He just got to retire, got paid off 2.2 million plus shares plus an extra bonus, and just went off and bought a villa and an island. Let be suspected on some guilty of affiliation type shit with something as serious as 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 rape, murder, whatever. You know what's gonna happen to you? You're gonna go under the jail. You may not even get an option for bail. Yeah, and ultimately speaking, man, they're gonna have you in that prison for probably about a year before your trial even finishes, man. But this is what I'm saying. Hey, the scriptures, hey man, they are not in trouble as other men, man. The prophet said I was envious of the prosperity of the wicked. There are no bands in their death. There's no this man is the devil, man, and that's why pursuant to Isaiah the 14th chapter, when we get this man, we're going to really get him, man. But anyway, Habakkuk 2:6, shall not all these take up a parable against him and a taunting proverb against him and say, woe to him that increaseth that which is not his? How long? And to him that ladeth himself with thick clay. The word clay there goes into the Hebrew word abatya, which means debt, because that's what this system is based on. It's a debt-based system, man. England just literally finished paying off its World War One and Two debt recently, man, within about the last 10 years, man. Just about. And there's still mad deficits, man. Loads of from more modern debt. Loads of students ain't ever paying back those student loan debts. A lot of those loans they gave during the pandemic, the first lockdown, are not getting paid back because they was taken out fraudulently, man. There's a lot of lost money in this system, man, because it's a flawed system. It's a purposely flawed system, and the purpose of it is pretty much for it to be destroyed, man. Look at this. Household income squeezed with inflation to 10-year high at 5.1, and it's over that, man. Wages rise up to 2.2%, but still fail to overcome inflation. All that clapping for the NHS, they gave them what, like a 1% or a 0.5, whatever they gave them. Listen, listen, a 1%, or even let's say a 1% for argument's sake, with inflation higher than 5.1%, what is the fucking point? This is like, yo, but at the end of the day, this man is the devil, man. And this is why our people need to flee out of Egypt spiritually, because you are not going to get justice from the devil, man. Even if you take his MOTB, man, he's still going to do you dirty because it's the way of the devil, man. It's just who he is, man. You gotta understand that, man. You gotta understand that this man is not here for the betterment of our people, man. He is not here for that, man. Just a second, Akim. What you gotta understand is that this man is not here for the betterment of Jake. Yeah? Hey, let you pay a mortgage, let you take out a 20-year mortgage, pay 15, 17 years, let you pay for 19 years and 10 months, yeah, and miss the last payment and not be able to pay that. That shit is going to get repossessed. You're gonna lose everything, yeah, and they're not even gonna give you the initial money you paid back. They're just literally just gonna take the house and go sell it off onto somebody else. But guess what, man? In the scriptures, in the book of Deuteronomy, the 15th chapter, it talks about a year of release, man. Deuteronomy, the 15th chapter, verse 1, and at the end of every 7 years thou shalt make a release. And this is the manner of the release. Every creditor that lendeth aught unto his neighbor shall release it. He shall not extract it of his neighbor or of his brother, because it is called the Lord's release. So in the year of the Lord's release, every 7 years, if you've lent somebody money and they owe it to you, you're supposed to just forget about it, man. It's in the law, and this is the manner of the release. Every creditor, so the person that lends the money out, ought to his neighbor shall release it. He shall not exact it of his neighbor or of his brother, because it is called the Lord's release. Of a foreigner thou mayest exact it again, but that which is thine, which is thy brother, thine hand shall release. So, if it's a heathen, then of course, yeah, you ask for your stuff back. But if it's your brother, a man of your kin, then hey man, you just take it as what it is. Hey man, you gotta understand, man. There's pretty much everything, man, in the law. Everything, man. Look at this right here. Let's go into the book of just a second. Let's go into the book of Leviticus. Salakia, just a second. Leviticus, the 25th chapter and the 8th verse. It says, and thou shalt number 7 Sabbaths of years unto thee, 7 times 7 years, and the space of 7 Sabbaths of the year shall be unto thee 49 years. Then shalt thou cause the trumpet of the Jubilee to sound on the 10th day of the 7th month. In the day of atonement shall ye make the trumpet shouts sound throughout all your land. And ye shall hallow the 50th year, and proclaim liberty throughout all the land unto all the inhabitants thereof. It shall be a jubilee unto you, and ye shall return every man unto his possession, and ye shall return every man unto his family. So we also have the year of jubilee, man. A jubilee shall that 50th year be unto you. Ye shall not sow neither reap that which groweth of itself in it, nor gather the grapes in it of the vine of the undressed, for it is a jubilee. It shall be holy unto you. Ye shall eat of the increase thereof out of the field. In the year of this jubilee ye shall return every man unto his possession. And if thou sell aught unto thy neighbor, or buyest aught of thy neighbor's hand, ye shall not oppress one another. Look at that, man. But you think Esau Edom acknowledges that? This, you gotta understand, this man has got to get put down, man. You can't do nothing right, man. You can't do a damn thing right. Hey, you got it to where with this pandemic, Esau locked down businesses, yeah, and then the government gave out loans with usury. So you prevented businesses from trading, and then you gave them loans and made them have to pay usury on the loans that you gave them. You gave out what was known as the the C word, business interruption loans and bounce back loans, and the C large business, loans, etc., etc. But then, rather than having it as a interest-free initiative, at the very least, if not a grant, this man then slapped interest on it of 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, sometimes even 10%. Why? Because he's the devil, man. He stops you from trading and then tells you that you have to borrow money at interest from him in order to be able to bide your time. Hey, man, and then after he don't apply the year of release, he doesn't apply the year of jubilee. A Genesis 29th chapter and the 20th verse. And Jacob served 7 years for Rachel, and they seemed unto him but a few days for the love he had for her. And you know the whole controversy with Laban, but Jacob went into that contract with the mentality of, I'm gonna serve 7 years and get my woman, man. He did the 7 years, but Laban played a trick on him, and he did another 7 years, and ultimately he ended up with both sisters, but he got his woman, man. But 7 years, man. You know, hey, Esau will have you out here working till you're dead. Look at the NHS, man. The NHS got that pathetic pay rise, but the nurses are up in there. Hey, like the elder brother require combo, so you will be in there until they need the NHS themselves. This man is the devil, man. This man is the devil, man, and this is why shit like this is going on. May 2022, Lord willing, be the year that people rebel, man. Because, hey, man, While all of this is going on, you got this devil over here, this lesser illuminary, the front man, and his handlers, man, enjoying life, man, living it up, man, living it up, man. People are having to choose between feeding their children, heating up the house, eat, man. Judgment for these devils is on the way. Shalom.